So, did it come?
Sorry, boys. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but
It came. Eat kid hand check. Ain't she a beaut?
I bet you could talk to New York on this thing.
Think bigger.
California?
bigger.
Australia? Oh, man. When Will sees this, he's totally gonna...
Well, that was in the first episode of Stranger Things. And it put me to thinking about something. Shortwave radios. And they were around way before most of the population. Most people don't even know what they are. But they could reach thousands and thousands of miles. And the first antennas was back in 1946 to 49. You see where I'm going with this. It didn't take me long to look into all this. I pulled up so many things, but I narrowed it down to a few. I did a search on when the first satellite TV. It was 1962. And the first TV antennas was back in the 40s. Shortwave radios. Back in the 20s. And then they discovered that they could reach, now take in mind, if this is a ball, they could reach on the other side of the ball by bouncing the wave off of the ionosphere. Back in the 30s, they could send a signal to the other side of the ball by using the ionosphere. How many miles up does our atmosphere go? And the more I looked into this, you get so many different numbers. They can't agree on anything. It says our atmosphere. Earth's atmosphere stretches from the surface of the planet up to as far as 10,000 kilometers, or 6,214 miles above. How they come up with that, I'll never know. After that, the atmosphere blends into space. Oh, that thing where you got a vacuum next to a sealed. Now they got it blending, going up 6,000 miles. But I'm going with something on this. It may not make sense, but it put me to thinking about something. The shortwave radios. And the ionosphere is 30 miles up. Take in mind, back in the 30s, that was before antennas. So they would have to, on a ball, bounce that up. Let's get a visual here. They would have had to bounce that up 30, and another thing says 50 to 100 miles. And then what would it hit coming back down to go back up? To go all the way around this 2,400 mile ball globe to reach the other side. Take in mind, there's no satellites, there's no antennas. One mile is 5,280 feet. Jets, the passenger jets, believed to go 30 to 35,000 feet. So 6, 7 miles up. And they are above the clouds. Your higher topped storm clouds can reach 35,000, 40,000 feet. Are you following me yet? And this thing is 200 miles up. And every picture you ever will see of this, you will not see any of the so-called satellites that came into existence back in the 60s. I looked into this stuff and I could not figure out how shortwave radio, before antennas or satellites, could go around a ball to the other side. But now if you go on to the flat earth, the biblical earth, and send a signal up to the glass dome, and it would bounce back. Take a look in your neighborhood or wherever you live with satellite dishes and see if they're not all pointing in the same direction. If you've got a satellite up there 100 miles up, rotating at 1,000, 2,000 miles an hour, how could your satellite dish lock on to it as you're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour and it is moving at thousands of miles an hour or hundreds of miles an hour? You cannot pin them down on any one exact speed. They are all different everywhere you look. And I looked into this today. There's no way of locking on to a signal coming from space, as that satellite would be going around a ball that is spinning at the equator at 1,000 miles an hour. They all point in one direction for a reason. They hit an antenna, which is probably bouncing the signal up off of the dome and back down to you. Let me pull up one more thing here. Some of these TV and radio towers are monstrous. They even have them on top of skyscrapers. But when you get out into the middle heartland or away from cities, it's hard to get a cell phone signal or antenna TV reception. So how could, back in the 30s, a signal go around this ball from, let's say, here to Australia on the other side and hit something, the ionosphere, which is 30 to 50 miles up? What would it, going around, that would be 12,000 miles to the other side. That signal would just go right on out into space unless there is a firmament on a flat earth. Boom, boom. Doesn't make sense. How did shortwave radios work back in the day? But people don't even look into that stuff. There's so many proofs. I'm going to link this here. Some of NASA's propaganda, all CGI. And you ask somebody, where's their proof of the ball? Well, NASA shows us. What, like this from the ISS? Where are all the thousands of satellites? Where are the stars? You never see it in any of their images. This is 10 facts about space. Isn't that pretty? Propaganda. Ask somebody where's their proof they live on a ball without using some of this CGI from NASA. They have none. They're going on blind faith that they are on a ball. I used to have that blind faith. I no longer believe that. I know this. I no longer believe that. I know this. This will bring out the haters. Just like the Mandela effect, you get the crazies that come out and want to leave you all kinds of dirty, nasty comments, call you every name in the book, and just insult your intelligence. But if you look at those that are doing that, like I put up a Mandela effect video a couple of days ago on that 70s show, man, got some ridiculous comments. So I looked at who was leaving the comments. One of them had just created the channel this month. The other one had just created the channel last month. They are government shields trying to censor the truth about the shape of the earth. Because once you realize you're not on this whirly-twirly marble going through infinite universes, and you're on a biblical, stationary, unmovable, built on 4 pillars with a firmament above you and the stars in the heavens and the 2 lights, one to rule the day and one to rule the night, rotating around like clockwork. You don't need to have blind faith in an agency known as NASA or any other space agency that cannot show you any proof. But they can sure show you film footage from the surface of Mars. But they can't put a camera on the moon and show you this thing rotating. I wondered for the longest time why they kept saying 2024 we'll put a woman on the moon. Or we'll go back to the moon. Well, China and Israel have gone up there, but they go to the dark side, so you can't see them. No man has ever walked on the moon. There is no proof. If the earth is 4 times larger than the moon, every image you see from the moon landings, the earth should be 4 times larger than what you see the moon in the sky. They're all fake. They're all a lie. Shortwave radios. There would have been no way without antennas or thousands of satellites that Elon Musk is putting up there. Why do they need all the antennas? Why is the reception so bad when you're out away from the cities? Can anybody ever show you a satellite through their binoculars or a telescope? They should be up there in broad daylight, shouldn't they? How come you never see any of them go across the moon when it's a full moon out in the daylight or even at night? There's thousands of them up there. You should see one. And I'll go back to this thing here. There is absolutely no footage or images of them constructing a space station 200 miles above their ball Earth, because it does not exist. Oh, you might see something, but how do you know what you're seeing? If it's 200 miles up there, can you see a football field 200 miles away? Even if it's all lit up, could you? I think not. Down the road.